And Rob, Kyrie Irving, who has been praised to high heaven over the last 3 weeks. And Kyrie, we all know, is an outstanding player. First ballot Hall of Famer. I know the NBA Hall of Fame or Basketball Hall of Fame, it gets a lot of criticism. Well, everybody's a Hall of Famer. This dude is a legitimate first-time Hall of Fame. Would you agree with that, Rob?
Yes, but I'm not so sure he's going to get there.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Especially now because, we'll see if he has any others,
No, but that you know what I'm saying. Right.
He's been
as a player, he should get in.
But I also think, he has enjoyed what I'll call a reputation renaissance over this whole season because he hasn't had any issues off the court. He's been showing up and playing every game when he's healthy, and obviously he's played to. That's all. That's never been an issue as basketball.
No, right. I'm not talking about it from the basketball.
I think he's viewed, Rob, as the leader of this team. The leader of a team that got to the finals, not the best player, but the elite, the leader, the elder statesman, if you will. And I do think that's, some.
The only reason why
rehabilitated his image, if you will.
Yeah, the only reason why
Dennis Rodman got in.
I flinched is that they didn't put him in the top 75, and that was during his stuff. And
right.
And that's what I'm saying. So,
and I think
because he should be a top 75. You're talking about first ballot Hall of Famer. But they kept him out of that, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't even know if he was the first. Klay Thompson has to be in before him, and Klay didn't make it.
Yeah,
so I just think. I think there's an argument for Kyrie, but I don't think it was slam dunk. Oh my gosh!
When they put in another guy, Dame Dollar, who hadn't won anything,
but Dame. Look,
I'm just saying.
I think it's arguable. I think. You can argue Kyrie's
I think that
if Dame has more accolades.
But if Kyrie's slate was clean,
accolades.
I think he would have been in there. I do.
He might have. But that's different than the Hall of Fame. Obviously, it's just more stringent than the Hall of Fame. But anyway, Rob, last night Kyrie shoots 6 for 19, 0 for 5 from 3. And Rob, it didn't look like Kyrie Irving out there. He dribbled the ball off his foot. He's the best ball handler in the history of the NBA. Dribbled the ball off his foot. Was stumbling at one point a few times on one possession. Hit the side of the backboard on a corner three. That's the easiest three-point shot in the league. The side of the backboard. And then just one pass just threw out of bounds. I don't know what he was doing. Just threw it out of bounds. And Rob, he was back in Boston, and Kyrie has lost his last 11 games against the Celtics.
That's incredible. Remember that show? That's incredible.
Right. Here's his numbers in those games, Rob. 20 points a game, which, that's fine. But for Kyrie, he's averaged 23 in his career. 41% shooting. He's a 47% career shooter. 28% from 3. He's high 30s in three-point percentage. Rob, here it gets even worse. The last 4 playoff games for Kyrie. Now, you remember that when Brooklyn got swept with Kyrie and Durant, and they made Durant and Kyrie look bad. But the first game 1, they barely lose. Kyrie is awesome, drops 39 on them. Those remaining 3 games, and then last night, so his last 4 playoff games, he's averaging 14 points a game against the Celtics on 35% shooting and 12.5% from 3. Rob, what do you make of this?
A lot of people don't want to believe in curses or anything like that. I always remember when the.
Are you actually about to go there?
I'm going there.
Really?
Like the curse of the Bambino. You know what that is, right? Because the Red Sox sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees, and that was the long-standing curse. Whatever they went 80 some odd years without winning.
85, 86. Something
yeah,
like that.
Whatever. They went over 80 some odd years without, and that was always the curse of the Bambino.
Yep.
Is there some sort of curse here? Are we looking at what? Kyrie's a great player. Why is he scuffling and playing so poorly against this team? his former team when he stood up there and said, "I'll be back if you guys will have me," and then he ditched and ran.
And he dipped, right?
And he was out, Chris. And I just wonder, and we've heard them boo the heck out of him.
Yep.
Last night, I missed that. Did we? How bad was it?
Well, he even said it wasn't as bad.
So it wasn't as bad as normal. You remember before, it used to be really bad.
Yeah. I don't think it was as bad as like when he played in Brooklyn.
Right.
Honestly.
But you know what I mean. I'm joshing, half joshing,
right.
But it just seems
weird. Well,
he's
1-11, right? You remember when he stomped on Lucky?
Right.
Little left.
So he's 1-11
since then. Yeah.
Wow.
But
everybody runs on Lucky's on the court. Everybody stepped on him at some point.
They all stepped on him, right? I think, Rob, that, look, first of all, they're a great defensive team, and not just this year. So that's part of it, right? They got great defenders. They have Marcus Smart. They've had Derek White. Now they got Drew Holiday. Any of those guys on him, plus Tatum and Brown defend well. Like, that's one thing, is they legitimately
and Derek Harper talked about it.
Very right.
They do.
Some of that. And they got length. Like, they're all bigger than Kyrie. So there's that. Then I do, Rob, now I'll say this as a guy that picked the Mavericks, because Kyrie's got to play better if they're going to win. I did like his demeanor in the post-game press conference. Like, he did not seem frazzled, did not seem shook. He was calm. He was smart. Like, he seemed fine, which is I took it as a good sign. But, Rob, I'm not so certain that they might not get in his head. They might be in his head a little. Like, what? You said it, Rob. How do you explain it?
You can't explain
Kyrie
it. He's
Irving
too good.
He went against Minnesota, which was a top defensive team, and had his way. OKC didn't play great. He averaged 15 and a half points a game in that series, and they are a great defensive team. So I guess if somebody wants to say that's evidence that some, really top defensive teams can bottle him up, okay. But I personally think he's too good. And I'm going to say this, Rob, whatever it is. Rob, kind of like I started off the segment, Kyrie needs the ball. And I don't mean just for the Celtics to win. Obviously, that has to happen. But, Rob, we've talked about it. Kyrie, over the past few weeks, has been called the most gifted player in NBA history. He's been called for a few years now the most skilled player in NBA history.
The best finisher at the basket.
Best finisher at the rim. A part of the greatest offensive backcourt in NBA history. And I'm missing,
LeBron called him a wizard. And LeBron called him a wizard.
LeBron called him a wizard. The best wingman in history. So you can't come out here and get shut down. And I get it. Drew Holiday's a great defender, and he's bigger and stronger than Kyrie. But, Rob, we watched Jimmy Butler make minced meat out of Drew Holiday a year ago. Minced meat. All right, and I know Jimmy's stronger and bigger, but he don't have 2/3 of the skill that Kyrie's got. If you that guy, and I'm not even out, I like Kyrie. I'm not trying to mock him.
Are you calling him out?
No,
okay.
I'm not trying to mock him at all. I'm just saying, with these accolades showering down on you, you can't go out there like this. You got to come out there and ball. Your handle, your J, your finishing ability, your mid-range, your floater, your three. They should not be able to stop you. And Rob, last night, he missed 5 threes. 3 of them were wide open. One of them, I was closer to you right now than any defender was to Kyrie. I mean, one of them, Rob, he must have had 15 feet between him and the nearest defender.
And he couldn't, right.
And missed it. And that happened. Look, shooters, you miss sometimes. But 3 of them were wide open, and one of them he hit the side of the backboard. That wasn't a wide open one, but he hit the side of the backboard. I think it was Peyton Pritchard was in his face. So I'm just saying, am I wrong, Rob? I mean, you like Kyrie too, but you've seen the accolades. Maybe they've gotten a little bit out of hand. But whatever the case, you got to go out there and play better than this. when people are showering you with this kind of praise.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now, Luka did his thing. Kyrie was MIA, Chris.
Yep.
And people will be looking at it if this repeats on Sunday or if he continues to struggle, because then you could keep – if they lose that game and he struggles and he's 0-12, in his last 12 against the Celtics, then you're going to start.
And it starts
it's
to
already
become a thing.
Yeah, it will be a
People
thing.
are talking about it and asking him questions about it.
Right. How come you can't beat this team? How come you're
Right.
0-12? When you start throwing that number out there, like, I don't know if anybody has brought it up yet, but that'll happen, and it'll be rightfully so that you could ask that, Chris. That's a big enough sample size. That's not
absolutely.
That's not 0-3 in your last three games. That's 12 games or 11 and counting.
Absolutely, Rob. And if it gets to 0-12, then no smile and no joke, that's not going to be the answer. I don't care how calm you look, how comfortable you look, what you say. People are going to be like, you're 0-12. And you're shooting below 40% against them in your last handful of games.
What's going on?
So I think he's capable. I mean, I picked Dallas to win, and part of that was that Kyrie's going to do his thing. And you're right, Luka wasn't awesome, but he was, he played well enough for them to win.
He brought him back.
He just needed some help. And so Kyrie's got to give it to him. Kyrie struggles against the Celtics. Is there more to this? Your thoughts? Couple.
All right, Chris, let's kick it off with Brandon in Riverside, California. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, B?
I'm good, gentlemen. I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing
great, man.
Yes.
We're great.
Right, yeah. As of right now, it looks like they have their card against, they got their number against Kyrie. I don't know why that's in the last, 2-3 years that they just know how to play him and guard him, and he has a hard time scoring.
Let me say this, though. If you that guy, what do we always hear, Rob? You can't stop a great player. You can only make it tough on him. You can only hope to contain him. They stopping Kyrie.
Yeah, and that was the one reason why I picked Boston, because I was like, hey, Kyrie has a hard time scoring against them. And they do have four bodies where they can switch off on them, and I know that makes it hard. So, yeah, it sucks for Kyrie, but he got to figure it out because he has been getting all the praise and everything.
Yep.
Figure it out.
He has to figure it out. You got to figure this out. And, and I think he will, but he better do it and better do it fast. Rob G, you a Kyrie hater. What are your thoughts?
Talking about? I'm a Kyrie hater.
Until he joins the Lakers,
future Laker,
you're going to hate him.
Future Laker Jason Tatum, by the way.
Right.
That's part of the reason why I picked the Mavs, because if they win, he ain't never coming. So he need to lose. But with Kyrie Irving, even though I personally am optimistic about him, especially in game 2, usually when you have a game that poor, you're going to bounce back in a big way the following game. So I feel good about that. Having said that, though, this Kyrie situation is not just about him having to step up. I don't think that's the issue with him. Okay, if you look at the numbers, and Chris, you alluded to it earlier, in his career, he averages about 25.5 points on 50% shooting, 41% from three.
Okay.
In the 11 straight losses to Boston, his numbers have gone down. He's averaging 20 points a game on 41% shooting and 28% from three.
That's a big drop in the shooting percentage.
In the last 6 games.
Now, where'd you get those career numbers?
That's on CBS Sports. It might be related to this season. It might be for this season.
That's this season.
Yeah,
those aren't his career
that might have been misphrased.
Okay.
But the thing is and I'm going to piece it all together. I don't believe it's an issue of him stepping up. I believe it's an issue of him wanting so badly to stick it to Boston and stick it to those fans because of the way that they've talked about him and the way they treated him over the last 5 or 6 years. Mike Gorman was on 98.5 The Sports Hub in Boston today, and he talked about the game and the whole details of it, whatever. One thing that he said that kind of got somehow lost in the ether of sports talk media is he said he was sitting a few rows back from a fan. Fan was in the 6th row. He was in about the 8th row. And Kyrie had a running dialogue, according to Gorman, with this guy in the 6th row up and down the court. yelling at him last night.
See,
yelling at him, kind of giving him the finger on the sneak the entire time. And Kyrie, this whole situation with Boston is not about. It's hard enough for him to score on Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is great. The defense as a whole is great. But Kyrie has made it personal. And when you make it personal, you step outside yourself and you don't do the things that make you Kyrie Irving.
Well, he's got to be stronger than that. Him getting in a you are in the finals and you're in a running dialogue with some fan?
I can't.
You got to be stronger than that. I'm sorry. You're empowering that fan. Rob, if Kyrie ignored that dude, the guy would he loves the fact that Kyrie goes back with him.
Right, that you can get somebody's attention and break their focus.
Yep.
Because it really doesn't make sense to even be engaged in that. What would you care?
Not at all.
Well, you know what's interesting, guys, is his teammate Luka Doncic is the exact opposite. When Luka's into it with somebody and he's chirping and he's cursing and all this stuff, it gets him going and he plays better. And Kyrie just might be one of those guys that when he's that personally invested and emotionally invested in it, it takes him away from what makes him great and makes him worse.
Well, he better get off of that. He better get off of that. All right, and he's talked about his maturity, how he's grown, and I don't doubt that in terms of his personal life and stuff. But you have to show that on the court too. Because there's no reason, like you're 32 years old. You're the elder statesman on the team. You're the voice of reason in the locker room. These dudes are looking at you as a leader and you yelling with some dude on the sideline?
Right. It doesn't
make
sense.
Up and down the court? No, you got to be better than that, Kyrie.
Let's go to Mike in Huntington Beach. Chris, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Rob. Hey, Chris. It's just, don't get offended, brothers, but it's funny to me how all these media people were calling the Joker the greatest player on the planet. Then he loses, and then everybody goes, okay, let's establish Luka as the greatest player right now in the game. Well, Kyrie
that's not everybody, but some people, I've said he's in that discussion.
Yep.
But go ahead.
Hold on, Chris. I know you ain't gonna let me talk.
Go ahead.
Real quick.
Yeah.
But if when Kyrie plays well, like he did last series, Luka got all the credit. Last night, Luka only got one assist. But I keep hearing Chris go, "Oh, Luka played well. We ain't gonna talk about him. We're gonna rip Kyrie." Had that been LeBron James, you would have destroyed him and said, "Oh, see, LeBron can't come through in the big."
Wait, had who been LeBron James? And stay on, because it sounds like you're trying to call me out. Had who been LeBron?
Had LeBron James scored 35 points with one assist,
30 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist is what he did.
Yeah, you would have criticized him and said he couldn't get his players involved.
Really?
Because
I don't even remember killing LeBron when he averaged 17 and 7 against Dallas in 2011. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about.
I wouldn't have killed LeBron.
Oh, you're not gonna let me talk. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Well, it is my show. You asked me a question. I'm giving you an answer.
It is your turn. I said respectfully. I just want to get again. I didn't want you to get offended.
No, but you accusing. I'm answering your question. You were accusing me of doing something that I would not have done. I'm not a LeBron James hater. If I feel like he deserves criticism, I'll do it. But you can't sit up here and tell me if that was LeBron, you would have done. You out of your mind.
No,
you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not accusing you. I'm asking you.
You just did, actually, but okay.
Oh, okay, you're not gonna let me talk. All right, man. Well,
go ahead.
Like I said, go ahead and keep ripping Kyrie. But it's a shame that you got to do that. All I'm saying is, Kyrie's playing. He's playing against his former team. They know him well. Let the brother get going, and let's see what happens.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Because you're bringing race into it. Because you really said Jokic and Luka, that people been speaking favorably of them, and then criticizing LeBron and Kyrie. Be honest about it. Is that what you're saying?
Unequivocally. I'm being absolutely honest. Absolutely, it's racial. Absolutely.
Okay, so say your whole thing with your chest. Clear words, not any misdirections. What are you saying?
I'm saying, I'm asking you a question. Why is Kyrie getting the burden of the?
Because he shot 6 for 19.
He had a bad night last night.
Yeah,
Can we say
that?
Yeah, I mean, like.
So last series when he scored 30-some-odd points against Oklahoma City, or not Oklahoma City, the previous round they played, why weren't you guys giving him the credit?
We were.
Chris,
we didn't give Luka all the credit. We gave Luka and Kyrie major credit. I said if they win this championship, they will be the second greatest backcourt offensively ever.
All right.
What are you talking about? Rob, did we not give Kyrie any credit for the last series?
We gave him credit. And what I said to you yesterday was because
I wish I would have kept him on.
Yeah, no, we got it. It's all good. At least he called in, and we appreciate the the conversation. It's okay.
It was a good conversation.
We're all right. It's okay.
Absolutely.
You don't have to
call
agree
in
with everything.
Again, and we can talk about it again. But I just don't think. I think he's way off. I mean, Kyrie shot 6 for 19. We're not supposed to say anything about that.
Kyrie is going to be beat up on a day, shoot 6 for 19. The team was down by 27 at one point, and they lose. Yes.
Right.
No doubt. If Luka shot that and they lost Chris, it would be like, he's supposed to be one of the great players, and he had a stinker in a game like that.
Absolutely. And we gave Kyrie plenty of credit. That was part of the whole thing we were just talking about. All the accolades that he's gotten. I said he's arguably the most skilled player ever. So I'm all right.